You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me. Glad you could be here on another episode of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Make sure you go to my Facebook page to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. I won't take up much more of your time. Let's get into it. So, not much really going on sports-wise, really. I believe the NBA Finals will kick off again soon. Tonight, you have the Bears taking on the Buccaneers, Thursday Night Football. But I wanted to touch on, and this is about a week old. I didn't touch on it, so I want to touch on it now. It was kind of the Kyrie Irving situation, where he says that Kevin Durant is the most clutch player that he has ever played with on his team, and saying that on any team that he had been on, he felt that he was the best option down the stretch. Kyrie went on to also say that this was the first time in his career he can be like, well, that mother blanker, mother effer, he can make a shot too. Some people kind of took that as a jab to LeBron. I, for one, am going to say that as well. Excuse me. I do believe that it's a shot at LeBron. Let's be real. If LeBron doesn't go to the Cleveland Cavaliers, if he stays in Miami or goes somewhere else, Kyrie Irving doesn't have a championship ring right now. Kyrie Irving is that weird dude that, growing up, you had that guy everybody knew, he was a cool cat, so to speak. He was popular. He was good at whatever it was he does. But he also had a weirdness to him. I went to high school with a guy like that. Guy had a little bit of game and actually went to college and played a little ball. But he was kind of weird a little bit, And that's kind of how Kyrie comes off to me. Kyrie doesn't look like a guy who really thinks about what he's saying. He sounds like a guy who just says whatever. And a lot of it being, though, I do think he's jealous of LeBron. Remember, that was part of the problem that I read a while back, that he didn't want LeBron to come back to Cleveland. He felt like the Cavs were his team. And when LeBron came back, that switched. It's not Kyrie's team. It's LeBron's team. But there is some underlying jealousy factor there. Now, Kyrie, look, I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan. In the whole LeBron-Jordan debate, I'm Jordan all the way. I'm pro-Jordan. But you can't just dismiss LeBron James like he wasn't a better option when you played it with him in Cleveland. I'm still waiting for Kyrie to show me that he can do it by himself. He failed in Boston. The Boston experiment failed. The Celtics came out better when Irving didn't play. And you can tell the jealousy factor was there. Remember his first year in Boston, I think he was only there 2 years. But remember his first year, he was in Boston. Boston met Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals to go to the NBA Finals. Kyrie was out most of that season and missed the playoffs. I remember Game 7, Kyrie Irving does not come to the arena. Did not show up at the arena for Game 7. I know that's just because he didn't, he'll never say it. But let's be real. He didn't want to see LeBron James win without him. The Cavs turned out to be just fine with LeBron and Kevin Love, and Kyrie went on his merry way. And Kyrie has yet to string together a meaningful season. Kyrie has not had a meaningful season since he left LeBron James. So I think Kyrie Irving was out of line, and so far Kyrie Irving has shown to me that, he's nothing without LeBron James. I wouldn't put Kyrie right now. I wouldn't put Kyrie Irving in my top 5 NBA players. I mean, he might not even be a top 10 NBA player. When I say that, I mean a guy that he does everything and then win. Kyrie just is not that guy. Kyrie is a great ball handler. He'll get a bucket. He can get buckets. I'm not doubting that about his game. But his game just doesn't translate to wins. It just doesn't. All right, now moving over to Kyrie Irving's teammate, Kevin Durant. There was an article a couple weeks ago in the news as well. I didn't see a lot of people talking about this one, where Kevin Durant said he'd never considered the New York Knicks. Now, Knicks fans thought Kevin Durant would sign with them as a free agent last summer, but the superstar, he again reiterated that joining the Knicks was never really a consideration. He said, I never plan on going to the Knicks, telling JJ Redick on Redick's The Old Man and the Three podcast. Kevin Durant went on to say that was just what the media put out there. But Durant said that he never really entertained the notion of signing with New York. I didn't want to be the savior of the Knicks or New York, Durant said. I didn't care about being the king of New York. That never really moved me. I didn't care about being on Broadway. I just wanted to play ball, go to the crib, and chill. So instead of that, Durant signed a 4-year deal for $164 million to play with the Brooklyn Nets, and he sat out the entire season last year, recovering from his Achilles tear that happened in the NBA Finals with the Golden State Warriors. So I know a lot of Knicks fans out there, and to all of you all, I hate to tell you this again. The Knicks suck. The Knicks have done nothing and forever. Okay, I need Knicks fans to understand what I'm saying. The New York Knicks will not be a real team until James Dolan gives up ownership of that team. James Dolan was already a terrible owner. And then the Charles Oakley situation happened. And then he tried getting out of the way and just turning all basketball operations over to Phil Jackson, and that didn't work. So, the Knicks I don't know what the New York Knicks are going to do. I don't know what they're going to do. They draft bad. Porzingis wanted out, so they traded Porzingis. When Porzingis said he wanted out, they traded him like within 2 hours. They got Kristaps Porzingis out of New York within 2 hours after he demanded to be traded. Now, yeah, the Knicks have money to sign players. But the problem is nobody wants to go there. These are not your granddad's Knicks. The kids coming into the league nowadays, the 19 and 20-year-olds, they haven't seen the New York Knicks win in their lifetime. When was the last time the Knicks really won? You got to go back to what, 99? The short strike, the strike shortened season when they played the Spurs in the finals and lost. That was Ewing's best shot at a title. Well, I won't say that was his best shot because they did go 7 games with the Houston Rockets. But that's what I'm saying. This is not your 90s Knicks. Charles Oakley is not walking through that door. John Starks is not walking through that door. And when I go to Hawks games, I mean, I see Knicks fans. Well, I won't say they're cocky. The most cockiest fans I've seen are Laker fans. Laker fans are cocky. But Knicks fans, the problem with the Knicks fans is they live in a fantasy world. And they think that everything is going to be okay. And just as long as they don't finish as the team with the worst record in the league, they are fine. That pretty much sums up Atlanta fans. I mean, I'm going to be real. All my teams are Atlanta, but Knicks fans, you're pretty much down there with us, especially with that thinking. You're down there with us as Atlanta fans. Yeah, so take that how you want, Knicks fans. I'm sorry. Welcome to the club. Kevin Durant never even considered joining the New York Knicks. All right, so I wanted to touch on this, and I'm on a diet. First of all, I shouldn't have been eating this anyway. But Wendy's came out with a pretzel bacon pub burger. And, I like trying new things as far as food goes. And on the commercials, this is where commercials get you. They look okay. It looked pretty good on the commercials. It looked better than okay. Then the problem is I also watch food reviewers on YouTube like Dame Drops, the guy they call Review Bruh, and they went and reviewed the Wendy's Pretzel Bacon Pub, and I just had it maybe a half an hour ago. I must tell you, that is the worst burger I've had in my life. The worst. And maybe that's what I get for, not sticking strictly to my diet. I got to do another weigh-in on Monday. See if I drop some pounds. How can I drop pounds when I'm eating the Wendy's Pretzel Bacon Pub Burger? I didn't finish the whole thing. I probably ate half of it. I wanted to give it a chance. And it was horrible. It was disgusting. I don't even think it was the meat. The meat was, Wendy's meat is Wendy's meat. The meat is the meat. But I think that cheese they put on there, I didn't really taste any of the fried onions that's supposed to be on the burger, but it's not for me. It was disgusting. Just not for me at all. All right. So before I get out of here, I want to talk about a video I saw on YouTube. It's a series called Overlapped. And it's this guy, if you ever seen any of his videos, he does a lot of the beef history videos on YouTube, I believe. And he had an overlap video that featured Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. Now, if you know me, I think Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders are pretty much the best athletes of all time. I don't want to hear nobody who was born before 1970 because I didn't see them. So I'm talking about people that I saw. Don't give me Michael Jordan. I love Michael Jordan too, but don't give me Michael Jordan. The best athlete, Deion and Bo, and I'll probably give Bo the edge for being the better athlete. Now, I love series like this because I learn things that I didn't know. Like, I had no idea that Bo really had no problems with Al Davis letting him play baseball for the Kansas City Royals. I didn't know that Bo didn't show up until week 7. So Bo's two-sport life never mixed. It never crossed the way Deion Sanders' two-sport lifestyle did. Deion would play, for the Falcons, and then he'll go play for the Braves during the week, and then go play for the Falcons. And then you have the most famous day of his. Some people might think of it as the infamous day if you're old Braves management, because they didn't like it, you have the day where Dion went and played for the Falcons down in Miami, and then after the game flew up to Pittsburgh to play with the Braves in the NLCS. But Dion didn't play in the actual game, but he did suit up. So Dion, I knew that much. So Dion is the only man to ever suit up for two sports on one day. But it looked like Dion was dealing with a lot of stuff, and it almost seemed like it was beef history. I don't want to give too much of the story away. It looked like Dion was reaching out to Bowitt sometimes and wanted just either advice or, just wanted an ear to listen to him. But check it out. I enjoyed it. The series is called Overlap, and it featured Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. You can find it on YouTube. I might even put the link in the description to the video that I am talking about. Well, guess what? That's all I got for you today, folks. Hey, look, I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, comment, and like, all that good stuff. Make sure you go to my Facebook page to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. You've been listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis, and remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.